This episode of the Feed Podcast is brought to you by the Chicago French Market. The market offers fresh ingredients for cooking at home, delicious grab-and-go options for any meal of the day, or even a simple picnic or office party.
The Chicago French Market, a taste of Europe in the heart of the Midwest.
This episode of the Feed Podcast is brought to you by Oscar's Mexican Seafood. Oscar's focuses on Baja-style fish tacos, fresh ceviches, and hearty seafood burritos.
And all their salsas and agua frescas made on site every day. For more information, oscarsmexicanseafood.com.
The Feed Podcast is brought to you in part by United Healthcare.
They offer a range of unique programs, things like Real Appeal, a weight loss program for a full year at no additional cost. More information, go to uhc.com/benefits.
You're listening to the Feed Podcast. Get the inside scoop by following us on Twitter at The Feed Podcast.
I remember you telling me a story about your trip to Thailand many years ago. You had said something to the effect of, had you done that trip when you were in college, your career would have ended up very differently.
It could have easily. Yes, absolutely.
Because
because I always say that that Thailand is the Mexico of Asia. It's got a lot of the similarities of complexity of flavor in the food. The food is really dynamic. The people are incredibly generous with everything. They're just generous of spirit. And I absolutely fell in love with Thailand the first time that I got there, but I had already put down my roots in Mexico, and so that's what I do. But I do cook a fair amount of Thai food at home, and I love to visit Thailand.
And it's nice now because there are so many Asian markets, and you can find so many of these ingredients in most cookbooks, which is great.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, coming up on today's show, a chat with the author of a stunningly gorgeous new book about the food of Bangkok that makes you want to cook, or at the very least, go to your favorite Thai joint after reading through its pages. Stay with us. There is a world beyond pad Thai to discuss. This is the Feed Podcast. I'm Steve Dolinsky, a food and travel reporter at ABC 7 News, the Chicago Tribune, and Canada's Globe and Mail.
And I'm Rick Bayless, the chef and owner of Chicago's Frontera Grill, Topolo Bampo, Choco Leña Brava, and host of public television's Mexico One Plate at a Time.
And every week, the Feed takes a deep dive into the world of professional chefs, restaurateurs, food artisans, and drink experts, sharing their stories and uncovering their passion for food and drink. But that's not all. Rick and I are always traveling the globe for our jobs, eating, drinking, and immersing ourselves in the local culture. And if we find something exciting along the way, you can be sure it's going to find its way here to our James Beard Award-winning podcast. Well, so many cookbooks hit our desks each month, it's a little mind-boggling to think about all the trees that were sacrificed. But a recent cookbook entitled simply Bangkok, Recipes and Stories from the Heart of Thailand, stood out. For one thing, it's from a fellow Chicagoan, or part-time Chicagoan, I should say, Leela Punyaratabandhu, who lives almost equally between Chicago and Thailand. But it stood out because of its thoroughness and vivid representation of what eating and cooking in Thailand is really like. If you've ever been curious about how the Thais truly eat, this is the book for you, and we are pleased today to welcome Leela to the show. Welcome, or should I say sawadee krap?
Sawadee ka. Good morning.
Good morning. It's early in Bangkok. You are 12 hours ahead of us, so we appreciate you getting up early.
I am so impressed that you said yes to this interview because you're up at the crack of dawn in Bangkok.
So you've got you've got the blog She Simmers, right? And then you've got a book already under your belt. But why do another book focused on Bangkok?
Actually, this book was written, in my mind. I was writing it in my mind before I wrote the first book. It kind of existed in a form of like a cloud in my mind, a cloud of information of things that I wanted to write down, but I didn't know if I could. You know, realistically, the first book was supposed to be something that people knew me by, meaning someone like a person who comes from a different culture, who's used to another cuisine, and then you talk about that cuisine, you talk about that culture to a different group of people. So I think people know my blog as a blog that does that, a blog that translates the cuisine of Thailand to, for the people who didn't grow up eating Thai food. So it kind of made sense that the first book would be something simple. So that explains the idea behind simple Thai food. But the whole time I was writing Simple Thai Food, I felt like there were a lot of things that I should have talked about, I could have talked about. So I wrote all of them down, I made notes, and I collected all my thoughts that wouldn't have been appropriate for Simple Thai Food. I wrote all of them down in a different notebook, and that became the second book, Bangkok.
Tell us about your experience growing up. Food was such an important part. You told many stories in here about your great-great-grandfather and sitting next to aunties and having these meals with your family. How we know food is a big deal in Thailand, but it seems like you have very vivid memories of specific meals and even like snack shops and food shops where you went when you were a child.
And I would say that my experience is probably not typical of some of the people in my generation. Most of them didn't eat at home a whole lot. I did. And it could be because of the fact that everybody in my family cooked. All the women, the men didn't so much. But, all the women cooked. And it's like everything we did was about food, or food was part of everybody's lives. And I think it served me well in writing this book because of those memories.
Well, one of the things that I noticed every time that I have visited Bangkok is that people are super thoughtful about food. I mean, they're thinking about food, they're thinking where they're going to get their next meal or their next snack, and they're super enthusiastic about all of the food that they're eating. But the one thing that I have found as a person that has been to Thailand several times, taken a bunch of Thai cooking classes, read a bunch of Thai cookbooks, is that cooking Thai food is like learning to speak Thai. It's you're in a different way of thinking about flavorings, and I always reckon back to the flavorings that go on the table, those 4 compartments that you find on most tables, especially not in fancy restaurants as much as in everyday restaurants. And
like noodle shops, yeah.
It'll be like the sugar, the vinegar with the green chilies, the crushed red chilies, and the fish sauce. And when I think about that, it is so different than the way we approach food in the United States and flavoring food that it always reminds me that I have to really stop and think about how to approach Thai food from a Thai mindset, and that takes a lot of experience. And tell me how you try to experience or share that experience of cooking from the Thai perspective in this book.
Well, part of it is when you grew up doing something repeatedly, it's kind of second nature to you. So in many ways, I feel like I didn't have to think too much about it. For example, like the seasonings that you talk about, like the first time your parents take you to a noodle shop, and that's where you would most likely encounter that seasoning caddy. It's just a matter of knowing what each seasoning ingredient does, like sugar that makes it sweeter, that vinegar it makes your noodles sour, and whatever you like. If it's not sweet enough, just add more sugar and things like that. So we do that so often, every day, many times a day, that we don't think about it anymore. I started thinking about this and started to, I would say, systematize it after I have come to the U.S. And it's like being a fish that has been taken out of the water, and now you look back over your entire life that had been lived in a different place. And then you start thinking about why you did what you did and how did you learn to do what you did and things like that. So that's part of what becomes the book too. Like
Well,
thinking.
it's a beautiful book. It's got lots and lots of gorgeous photographs in it. And as I was going through the first section, it reminded me of one of my very favorite. I saw a recipe that reminded me of one of my favorite street snacks there, which is a little. I think it's a rice noodle. It's a batter that is spread over a little muslin.
I know that dish, khao kep pak mo.
Mm-hmm.
That one, yes.
Did I say that right? Khao kep pak mo?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so your Thai is amazing, Steve.
Oh, Jack talk Thai real good.
Anyway, I saw something that reminded me of that, and I like the ones that are filled with the sautéed garlic chives in them. I just really love them. And then I looked at the recipe, and I thought, well, I would probably have to take off work for a couple of days to make this thing because it's got a lot of parts to it. And of course, you eat it on the street, and it costs pennies, and people are just masterful at their ability to make those beautiful little dumplings and all that. So I want you to take us into some simple things in this book. Where would you tell us, if we don't have a week to make a dish or whatever, where would you take us first in this book to get the flavor of Bangkok without having to really study and shop and do all of those things? Are there some recipes that you could point out for us?
Yeah, one of the easiest would be the grilled pork on skewers. And, well, if you know how to cut pork into thin slices, if you know how to turn something into a paste, either in a blender, in a chopper, in a mortar, you're good. And one thing unique about this, well, not unique, but something that is really Thai about this is in the marinade. And if you notice, a lot of Thai recipes would have this. The paste is so important to Thai cuisine. It's like it's at the foundation of Thai cuisine. Even the simplest dish would have some sort of paste in it. And this one, too, has a paste. It's just that the paste is not separated out as a paste. But if you look at the marinade ingredients, you will see the trinity of Thai seasoning paste, which is cilantro root, garlic, and peppercorn. As long as you have these three ingredients and you turn it into a paste and you keep that in the fridge, and if you incorporate this paste into pretty much anything that you make, especially meat, you could grill it, you can saute it, you can fry it. If you have this paste as the base of your marinade, making Thai food the way Thai people do at home is simple. It's really, really easy. Then it's, with this base, all you have to do is add some fish sauce, add some sugar, add whatever it is, like other spices, could be ground coriander, anything. And this is probably the most basic ingredient. Grilled pork on skewers is like all you have to do is marinate some pork and put it on skewers and then grill it.
Leela, we got to take a short break, but coming up, we're going to continue our conversation with Leela Punyaratabandhu and find out why street food plays such an important part of the Thai culture. Stay with us.
Looking for a little extra side dish? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at The Feed Podcast.
Commuters have known this for some time, but over in the West Loop at the Ogilvy Transportation Center, there are more than 30 specialty vendors just waiting to feed you inside the Chicago French Market.
The market offers fresh ingredients for cooking at home, delicious grab-and-go options for any meal of the day, or even a simple picnic or office party.
Hi, I'm Andy. I'm a partner with Aviato Eats. We're known for acai bowls. So acai is a Brazilian berry, kind of taken off in like the superfood culture. We make like a sorbet with it, so it goes down as the base. You get to choose like fresh fruit toppings, granola. The matcha is a green tea powder. We make like a cold oatmeal out of it. And then same stuff, you get the fruit toppings, granola, and all the good stuff.
Have you seen the lines, by the way, over at the Aloha Poke over there? And there's like the Aloha Poke, there's a line, and then there's Fumare Meats, and then there's, well, as you just heard the vendor, I mean, there's so much going on right now in that market. There's quite a lot to eat.
That's very exciting. I got to go over there and have some poke.
They've got two entrances, 131 North Clinton and 118 North Canal. And how about this? Covered parking is free for an hour with a $20 purchase.
Wow, that's great. They're open Monday to Saturday. You can also grab a bite and surf the internet since Wi-Fi is free. The Chicago French Market, a taste of Europe in the heart of the Midwest.
Hey, Rick, I got a question. Like, how would you describe a fish taco?
My favorite fish tacos are inspired by the fish tacos in Baja. Usually there, the fish is dipped in a like tempura-like batter and fried, and then they got all these delicious toppings that go on them. It's
Crema. There's cabbage.
Crema, cabbage, hot sauce.
Avocado?
They can be avocado. Some people put them, some people don't. But I have to say, it's this stuff that dreams are made out of.
They are. I've done that trip. The next best thing in the U.S. is in San Diego. It's called Oscar's Mexican Seafood. They started out as a food truck in Tijuana, became a tiny shack in Pacific Beach just north of San Diego. Now they've got 5 locations in and around the city, including the latest in Encinitas. Everything's fresh, never frozen, and they make their salsas and agua frescas fresh on site each day. More information, visit oscarsmexicanseafood.com. How crazy is it to think you can actually have your insurance company pay you to walk?
What?
Yes, they're going to pay you to walk. United Healthcare isn't crazy. They just want you to be healthy.
Oh, one of their new programs is called United Healthcare Motion, where members can earn more than $1,000 a year toward their health reimbursement account or health savings account just for walking.
I didn't even know I had a health savings account or a reimbursement account, but that would be a good thing. How do $0 copays sound?
Absolutely fabulous.
That would be nice. That's a nice advancement in society. Or pharmacy experience that offers more flexibility and less disruption.
Well, if your company works with United Healthcare, ask your friendly HR person about their programs, and if not, go tell them to switch today.
I'm going to tell mine. Call 877-233-2059 or go to uhc.com/benefits to get more information.
United Healthcare, a proud supporter of the Illinois Restaurant Association and committed to your good health.
You're listening to the Feed Podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday morning.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're talking with Leela Punyaratabandhu today, the author of Bangkok, Recipes and Stories from the Heart of Thailand. The book has been out for a few months, but Leela is back in Thailand for a while. She lives between Chicago and Bangkok, and while we were speaking with her today from there, I am curious. It's about 5 a.m. or so for you right now as we're doing this interview, but I want to know what you ate for dinner last night.
I had fried rice.
Fried rice?
Fried rice and a clear soup.
Because you talk in the book how you love khao man gai, which is just poached chicken and rice scented with that chicken stock.
That would be my last meal on
That would be your last meal.
I would want that as my last meal.
Was your fried rice classic Thai fried rice? Did you put fish sauce in it? Did you put a whole handful of basil leaves in it?
Yes, and fermented.
Good. You know, I make that at my house all the time. That's the only kind of fried rice I'll make in my house has that, and I just love it. And my wife always says, but it fills the whole house with the smell of all the fish sauce when you throw it in there. But that's what I love.
Hey.
And do you always keep a little jar of the prik nam pla, the fish sauce with all those little Thai bird chilies soaking in it that you kind of drape a little dots over your food if you want a little bit of salty heat?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So I do want to ask you about, Rick alluded to in the last segment, and you said there are easy ways to get the Thai flavor, but one thing that a lot of people think about is curry. And I came across the beef green curry, the Keng Khao Wan Nua, I have to pronounce that properly, and it does look daunting to me. Are there things that I should just have in my pantry if I'm going to make Thai food, like, I know lemongrass and shrimp paste and galanga, but this just seems really scary to me. There's a lot of stuff on this page.
Green curry is something that, as I said in the book, the green curry, as opposed to red curry, is made with fresh chilies. So when it's made fresh, it's really, really good. And if you want to go through the trouble of finding the ingredients and making the curry paste from scratch, green curry is probably the one that you want to make. But having said that, I mean, who has, the makrut lime leaf and the makrut lime zest and all of those things? You can source it, but I would say go ahead and use the ready-made curry paste. You can doctor it up, add some fresh ingredients, add fresh spices, toast up some spices. Look at the ingredients list, whatever you can find, toast them fresh, fry them fresh, add them to the ready-made curry paste that you bought from the store. And that just doing that without doing everything from scratch would make your green curry so much better already.
And is magroot lime the more preferred term now as opposed to kaffir lime? Because I've seen both. I know they're interchangeable, but I'd heard that kaffir is not the right term.
Exactly. So we're trying to move away from that.
Okay, so you asked for magroot.
Magroot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Or Asian lime.
Or Asian lime.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you said that we could utilize the blender or the food processor to make some of those curry pastes, because the last time I was in Thailand, I took a cooking class, a master class from this fellow up in Chiang Mai, and we had to pound, I think it was a 5-hour class or something like that, and for about an hour and a half of it, all we did was pound. And we had to make 4 curry or 5 curry pastes, and he had all the ingredients out there, and we did it back to back. There was no break at all. He said, if you're going to be a great Thai cook, you got to really develop your muscles to do this. And in those beautiful granite mortars, we pounded and pounded and pounded and pounded until I thought I was going to die. So thank you for allowing us to use some electrical appliances. I'm sure that the flavor's not quite as good, but it is a good way of doing it. I was really excited to see the recipe for the pad thai that is wrapped in the omelet, because one of my very favorite experiences, and I've had that several times in Bangkok, is to go to the Autogo market, and there was a woman there. She wasn't there the last time I was there, that made that sort of crepe-like omelet and put the pad thai in it. And when I took my first bite of that, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. And so every time I've had the opportunity to go to Bangkok, I've gone back there. And then I found this beautiful recipe in the book for just that version of pad thai.
Oh, I'm glad.
Listen, we got to take one more break, Leela. Coming up, we're going to talk to Leela about where to eat the best Thai food in Chicago. That is, if you can't swing the trip to Bangkok. And I'll share a few favorite spots in San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and Vancouver. Then Rick and I wrap things up. Plus, we're going to preview some scenes from next week's show, so stay with us.
Looking for a little extra side dish? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at The Feed Podcast.
Commuters have known this for some time, but over in the West Loop at the Ogilvy Transportation Center, there are more than 30 specialty vendors just waiting to feed you inside the Chicago French Market.
The market offers fresh ingredients for cooking at home, delicious grab-and-go options for any meal of the day, or even a simple picnic or office party.
All right, Kevin Whittier with Wood Fire Counter, handcrafted chicken. We make smoked roasted chickens. Yeah, we have our Brussels sprouts with truffle oil and Parmesan cheese. We also have our Nola mac and cheese, which is our ode to New Orleans, Louisiana, that has Creole seasonings, turkey andouille sausage, and crawfish.
But you're all about the chicken.
All about the chicken.
Have you seen the lines, by the way, over at the Aloha Poke over there? And there's like the Aloha Poke, there's a line, and then there's Fumare Meats, and then there's, well, as you just heard the vendor, I mean, there's so much going on right now in that market. There's quite a lot to eat.
That's very exciting. I got to go over there and have some poke.
They've got 2 entrances, 131 North Clinton and 118 North Canal. And how about this? Covered parking is free for an hour with a $20 purchase.
Wow, that's great. They're open Monday to Saturday. You can also grab a bite and surf the internet since Wi-Fi is free. The Chicago French Market, a taste of Europe in the heart of the Midwest.
Hey, Rick, I got a question. Like, how would you describe a fish taco?
My favorite fish tacos are inspired by the fish tacos in Baja. Usually there, the fish is dipped in a like tempura-like batter and fried, and then they got all these delicious toppings that go on them. It's
Crema, there's cabbage.
Crema, cabbage, hot sauce.
Avocado?
They can be avocados. Some people put them, some people don't. But I have to say, it's this stuff that dreams are made of.
They are. I've done that trip. The next best thing in the U.S. is in San Diego. It's called Oscar's Mexican Seafood. They started out as a food truck in Tijuana, became a tiny shack in Pacific Beach just north of San Diego. Now they've got 5 locations in and around the city, including the latest in Encinitas. Everything's fresh, never frozen, and they make their salsas and agua frescas fresh on site each day. More information, visit oscarsmexicanseafood.com. How crazy is it to think you can actually have your insurance company pay you to walk?
What?
Yes, they're going to pay you to walk. United Healthcare isn't crazy. They just want you to be healthy.
Oh, one of their new programs is called United Healthcare Motion, where members can earn more than $1,000 a year toward their health reimbursement account or health savings account just for walking.
I didn't even know I had a health savings account or a reimbursement account, but that would be a good thing. How do $0 copays sound?
Absolutely fabulous.
That would be nice. That's a nice advancement in society. Or pharmacy experience that offers more flexibility and less disruption.
Well, if your company works with United Healthcare, ask your friendly HR person about their programs, and if not, go tell them to switch today.
I'm going to tell mine. Call 877-233-2059 or go to uhc.com/benefits to get more information.
United Healthcare, a proud supporter of the Illinois Restaurant Association and committed to your good health.
Check out previous episodes, get recipes from ingredient challenges, and see behind-the-scenes pictures at thefeedpodcast.com.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're talking with Leela Punyaratabandhu today. She's the author of Bangkok, Recipes and Stories from the Heart of Thailand. And I'm guessing some of our listeners have been abroad, but many have not. And since you have your feet in both countries, do you ever get requests from people like, where do I eat Thai food when I'm in the U.S. or in Chicago?
All the time.
All the time. Like people ask, Rick, where do I eat in Mexico City?
Right.
Yeah. I want to hear what you would say, but I would say, like in San Francisco, I love Kin Khao.
I love that,
right?
too.
In L.A., Night Market Song. In New York City, Shri Prapai in Woodside, Queens. In Vancouver, Mae Nam. What do you like in Chicago?
There are a lot of good places in Chicago. My new favorite is Paula's Thai Kitchen in Lincoln Park.
Oh, Paula's, yes, very good.
Yeah, Paula's Thai Kitchen. Almost everything I've had is great. And in Rise and Beyond, if you like to sample many different things from the steam table, it's a great place.
Yeah, Rice and Beyond is like IMMM, and that's sort of like the translation is sort of yummy. But it's steam table, but really, really local, down and dirty, some sour curries, jungle curries, yeah.
Tat Quick is also great.
TAC Quick Thai, yep. You like sticky rice or Aroy?
Sticky rice is great, too. For sticky rice, you're going to have to go for the northern dishes, which is, northern cuisine is what they're known for, so you want to go for that.
So like a khao soi.
Andy's Thai Kitchen is good.
Andy's Thai Kitchen, yep.
I got to say that Tat Quick has one of the best Isan sausages in the city. It's still one of my favorite places to have that. Tom Yum Cafe in Lakeview, that's great, too.
All right. I'm going to make sure all of these are on our website.
That's great.
For our listeners.
But now I have to ask also, for those of us that want to cook and we're here in Chicago, what do you recommend for Thai groceries?
Yes.
Golden Pacific used to be my go-to Thai market, but it's closed now. It's permanently closed. My heart is broken. That cluster of Broadway and Argyle, I mean, there are a lot of other places that you could go for different things. The best thing about Golden Pacific when it still existed was that you could go to that one place and you could get everything. If Golden Pacific doesn't have it, you don't need it. But now you have to go to many different stores, like 3 or 4, just to gather everything.
But isn't there a market just off of Broadway, just south of Argyle?
Yeah, not as good as Golden Pacific.
But Golden Pacific is closed, so in that case, is there something else in the city or suburbs?
Actually, there is a Lao grocery store in Elgin that is really, really good. But
a Lao grocery store in Elgin?
Yes, and they have prepare food every Friday or something. Yeah, every Friday they have that. I don't know the exact address that is in Elgin.
I'm not going to Elgin to get groceries, but that's...
But I'll go up to Argyle.
I'll go up to Argyle, yeah. Listen, the book again it's gorgeous. It's called Bangkok, the recipe and stories from the Heart of Thailand. Leela, thank you so much for getting up early and talking to us today.
Thank you, Leela.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Korb Kun Krop.
Cupping cow.
Coming up next week, an ingredient challenge that might already be sitting in your pantry. The chef and owner of May Street Cafe here in Chicago accepts our canned black bean challenge to see if he can come up with an easy weeknight meal in 15 minutes or less using a can and 5 extra ingredients.
What I am looking at right now on the cutting board is a lot of similar ingredients. Mario has chosen and I have chosen, so we'll see how this comes out.
That's next week on the show.
You can always contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at The Feed Podcast. Another plus is that you can check out our ingredient challenges, get recipes and other information about previous shows by simply visiting our website, thefeedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe and rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to follow me at Rick_Bayless.
And I'm at Steve Dolinsky. More information about Leela's new book on our website as well. Remember, you can listen to us everywhere you can find podcasts. The Apple Podcast page, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Linnea Dominic's our intern. Max Dolinsky supervised today's music. Bureaucratic wrote and performed our theme song. And the Feed Podcast is edited by Matt Cunningham at Truthful Enthusiasm. Whether you're an individual or institution, get your story online with truthfulenthusiasm.com. Thanks for listening, everybody.